self-understanding, to understand who you are. That understanding eliminates all problems. It doesn't eliminate all situations, okay? Because problems are in here, in a person. To understand who you are, to really know who you are, if you stop short of that, then you create great problems. And the consequences is getting caught in a stage of power or manipulation and never reaching the totality of oneself. Because that seems so powerful, it seems so awesome to be able to do and manipulate reality as you would like to do, you know. And most of that comes out of a sense of insecurity anyway. The desire to be magically powerful, okay. These things come from a sense of insecurity. So, by getting totally immersed or involved in that, you shut off your growth. This is hell. It's hell of a different nature. In every story there is truth. Okay. There is let us say, a certain amount of truth. The old in the old traditions, or in the old schools of mystery, they were the places that people went to really learn about things. Out of those schools and out of the experiences of those people came stories of hell and demons and all this. Well, I've often said to you that devils and demons and these kinds of things exist in your mind. That is true. They do. But the forces that have been labeled this by people of antiquity are real. It's just that, like anything else, they have no more power than you give them. That's why a lot of things I don't touch on deeply, because I keep saying the first thing we've got to do is get this under control. Then those things are no problem at all. In, I believe it was Shakespeare that wrote Faustus. It is about a man selling his soul to the devil. Okay. There's a lot of mixture there, because in the use of the word devil or double in antiquity, for those who really knew, it just meant dual thinking or split thought. But then in these stories, it means there are forces that are forces of the earth, that is the spirit of the earth, and you've heard me mention this before, that can offer great power. In return, it always wants something. Everything wants something. It's a universe of everything eats something else. We've just become very secure because we developed guns and stuff so we can eat just about anything on the planet that we are aware of, okay? But there are forces that require, or not really require, but would like certain things from anything that comes within his grasp. And these are the things that the stories of devils and demons comes from, the experience of people who have had certain kinds of experiences in these realms. The whole thing of well, not the whole thing, but part of the thing of the lineage of Don Juan and people like that deal with those kinds of things. And their primary use of those kinds of things is that man is quite lazy and is quite comfortable. Therefore, they use fear and these kinds of things to scare people to move on past certain points. Because if you think the devil is after you, you kind of step a little livelier, you know, and you pay a little bit more attention to what's going on. So they were useful tools, but that's all they are, is tools, are tools. So there is a danger involved in all of that. I've always liked the attitude of, in those Castaneda's books, of warrior and what that means. Well, you see, we can talk about lifestyles of men on earth. Okay. And the lifestyle of men on earth and in earth, let us say, or in society. The lifestyle is that of comfort. We seek levels of comfort. We seek to be comfortable financially. We seek to be comfortable with everything. We don't want to be too hot. We don't want to be too cold. We don't want anything to be too challenging. You know, we want to go in and we want to cure the ills of the world without too much challenge. You know, let's just do this. Well, that is not the lifestyle that man really should have. The lifestyle that man should have should be full of challenges, and I don't mean challenges of the shadow world, what I like to call the shadow world. This is what I call the shadow world because it has the depth of a shadow. Okay, all of our feelings and are about as deep as a shadow. Okay, which is not real deep, guys. Okay, so I like to call it the shadow world. The world that is clear has many, many more kinds of challenges that are greater than anything you can imagine. These challenges really keep you on your toes. It really creates life in you. It really creates an excitement. So we can choose life of the mundane, or we can choose life that is exciting, that will allow and make us grow, keep us alert, or we can choose life that lets you die. Lets all of your senses die. You've been given many, many, many techniques, but you've only been given those techniques generally in the shadow stage. That is for the first step in their movement. But they have to be done and have to be done consistently. And so there's certain other things happen so that we can get to the depth of the technique. I talk about it in terms of being able to focus your attention over time and being able to hold your attention over time. If you can do that, then nothing can ever creep up on you. Stuff always creeps up on us. Our own nonsense creeps up on us. We think we got something by the tail. We think we got it. We got it nailed down. And the next thing you know, you're doing the same old crap all over again because it has crept upon you. And the reason for that is because we can't hold our attention on what it is, the lifestyle or the behaviors that we say that we want to have. So we have no real focus. You know how it is. You start listening to somebody and you look at them and you watch them, and the next thing you know, you're saying, wow, their lips sure move funny. And the next thing you know, oh, lips, yeah, Mick Jagger, yeah. Rolling Stones, Beatles, yeah, right. You're all the way back in the 60s now. Okay. Because we can't hold our attention. So, if we choose the true path of spirituality, that path is exciting, and that world exists within you. But it exists outside of you as well. It is a world that exists within you that we can share because it exists within and without. Many of the stories of the old Bible and the ways that things have come about, the stories have developed out of truth. But you must have grown up to take the trip. Otherwise, you get harassed by demons and devils and stuff. I like to laugh a lot, Sheila, and I found it very funny, and I find it funny, and you've heard me say this before. I am not afraid of ghosts. If you kill me, then I'm a ghost, and you're a ghost. You have a problem. If you, as a ghost, can reach out and smack me, I can smack you back. If you are solid enough to hurt me, then you are solid enough to be hurt. It is a knowledge of oneself and a knowledge of the equality of all things within this universe. It is not to be overcome by or controlled by fear. We're just in it. I'm in it amongst all things. There are forces, there are things that are alive, there are things that live that are not human. That doesn't make them bad. It just makes them what they are. Okay, it makes them seek what they seek. You seek what you seek. You know, how do you think a chicken feels when it sees Colonel Sanders coming? There's someone in all things. There's a universe, not just a world of prey and predator. And to soften that, everything feeds on something. If you really want to get into the excitement of this universe, you accept the fact that it is that way. And you go on with life, and you grow, and you change. It's okay. We have not yet learned of our aloneness in this thing, and that in the travels that we have to make in the second part of these techniques that we have been given, in the travels that we have to make, to a large degree, you're going to have to make it alone. You have to make certain decisions alone. You will have to make certain decisions that will expand you, and they better be right. One of the things we do not like to deal with, and I am often criticized by fools, because they say, you are so absolute. Well, it is absolute. You know? I don't get it. Of course. People don't want to recognize that there's an absoluteness, because that means they have to do some work. Some real work. Real work. Everybody wants to go on the spiritual path. but they don't want to do the work. I'm sorry. You stumble around and you open doors. Open the right door. Just open the right door, and there's some stuff that will make you work. Or not. But you'll be sorry as hell if you don't. I'm just telling you. You open the door to truth. Truth happens. For what it is. He said, but this ain't what I wanted. It's too late now. If you say you want truth, see, everything exists in certain ways. You have to be at peace. You have to be at peace with the realities of life. And the realities of life is that something is after everything. Something chases something. You have to decide. When you step across the boundaries of freedom, into freedom, freedom has responsibility. And one of the responsibilities is to pay attention to what's going on, which we don't want to do. We learn to live and accept that which is true. As you cross these lines, you will find out there are beings across this universe who only deal with truth. That's just the way it is. So yes, there's danger. But only if you are unprepared to be yourself. If you are prepared to be yourself and to accept the ways of this universe, there's only the joy of competition, the joy of being. Most of the time, we think that what we have for our fellow man is quite wonderful. Freedom for all, let us say. That is true. Freedom for all is quite wonderful. But then freedom for all can be a trap. The idea of freedom can be the worm on the end of a pole with a hook in it. So you must examine what you truly mean by freedom for all so that you see the hook that's in the worm when the time is right. And you are not the fish dangling on the end of a line yelling freedom. Okay. Yes, David.
I had this dream a few weeks ago, well, about a week and a half ago.
Thank you.
It was like the game Mortal Kombat. It was a group of guys, you were there, and I was there, and it was like a battle between two people, and the rules were set up. One of the guys said, wow, this is a thing that is happening. There are rules to this thing. These guys are really for real about whatever that symbol is. They were for real about what they were doing.
Mm-hmm.
But one thing that was important was I was aware of myself.
Yeah.
And then it was like nothing to fear from any of these other guys because they were aware of them.
Yeah.
And afterwards, we sat down and you were talking to me, and now I can't recall everything that was said.
Of course not. Yeah. Yeah.
But then when I woke up, I could remember remember, but at the time I didn't
Yeah.
do the proper techniques and write it all down.
The whole idea well, okay, you've been given a technique, a couple of techniques to do with dream work. You should have been consistent with those techniques over all this time. There are ways to get from point to point to point, or to get from dreaming to dreaming to dreaming to dreaming in your dreams. What is important is that you become aware, and your consciousness is able to come from this waking reality to this reality to this reality to this reality. There are things in your dreams that are doorways. What you have to be able to do is hold your attention. In order to hold your attention, you must be aware of yourself. Like the technique of your hands. Well, the hands merely stabilize the dream. The hands are not that important, but they are important in order to give you a point of stability and to make you aware of yourself. There are points in your dreams that can transport you other places and that can open up other things for you. All right? The thing of the energy made you aware of yourself. The next step was, to bring that awareness, because unusual features of the dreams really are unusual features. When you open up the dream state, you're really opening up the universe. And you're opening up the great adventure. So you got to be ready. You've got to be ready. All of these things, these techniques that I've given you are to prepare you to be ready. If you have not done them, you're not going to be ready. We love the Don Juan books. They are a chronicle of a man's adventure. There are other stories that parallel these. Some of these come from the Bible. Some of them come from other books, but parallel these things exactly. There are things in these realities. Do not think that these realities exist independent of its predators, because they do not. So in your dream work, when you have these extraordinary things, you've got to remember to do your technique. There's a reason. There's a reason behind everything I've ever told you. There's a reason behind everything I've ever told you, and every way in which I told it to you. Okay? Sometimes we like to think of the joke, ha ha ha, and we forget. Well, that is to help you develop. It's not that what I'm saying isn't real. It is real, but it's to get you to develop a sense of humor about yourself and about the situations of life. You got to have a sense of humor. We can be very, very morbid, and morbidity leads us into other stuff. So you have to be light and free, no matter what. No matter what. No matter what. No matter what.
You make your eyes any bigger?
I don't think so. What we do is we forget that statement. No matter what, we get entangled. There's promises of great power in these worlds, of power beyond your beliefs. I believe that at one point in the Bible it talks of Jesus being tempted and being offered all the power, could have all the power on earth. That was when he spent the 40 days and 40 nights in the wilderness. I said to you in the past, because I never really wanted to go into it in depth until we got to a certain point, struggling with the devil, with the division within himself to accept this or that. But I never said about what. Not really. There are places that offer tremendous power that will show you how to do things beyond your wildest imagination. Wow, this is neat. Yeah, it's real neat. That's what the fish says when it sees the worm. Wow, this is neat. We talk about the enlightenment. It's arriving at a state of being. To do what? To do nothing. I will just be wise. Well, it takes activity. Dynamics. It's about life. It's about dynamics. Things happening. And there are things. There are things. Exciting things. Real exciting things. But you must learn to master it, because that is the nature of the universe. It is the nature of all of being.